Well, listen, I think this is a good time for us to transition. Let's talk about like the big vision that we got going on and like why we decided to move forward with that. So what do we got for everyone?
Yeah, so for me, about a year ago, I realized that there's a lot of income available in this world through the world of commercial, and that the agents need just a little bit of training to start getting into that world. So in June of 2022, I started launching the commercial side of things. We started, doing meetings and everything like that. We brought on Maggie Markle in November, and then you and I started having conversations and collaborating a little bit on like, hey, we've got this off market, that off market, and then we just kind of approached each other and knew that there's something big here with what we're both doing. So why not combine it? Make it a resource available for residential agents that want to get into commercial and commercial agents that are already doing well in commercial or aren't doing well, whatever the problem may be, and enhance their life as well.
Yeah.
And we've thrown out some big numbers. I mean, I think that we put, we want to try to get 10 billion sold, what do we say, 5 years or 10 years?
Next 5-10 years, yeah.
Yeah, and it's totally doable.
Absolutely.
One of the things that and you and I were talking about this, one of the things that I'm focused on is kind of drawing that line in the sand where we shoot after $10+ million deals because they're all happening. And I know that if we focus on going after the bigger stuff, we're still going to do the 2 millions, we're still going to do the 5 millions and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
But it'll just bring that average price point of the whole organization in the commercial world up
like crazy. And we have that mix of like real good buyers out there and real good sellers and real good training. And with that, it's the collaborative effort. It's the culture aspect of things. It's a lot of agents that, if you just allocate a portion of your week towards, I don't want to say whale hunting, but like going after, big ticket items, yeah,
you're going to win.
So I want to talk about this. Like, okay, so there's an agent right now who's watching. It's like us a few years ago where they're like, maybe they're struggling to make their first $100,000. Maybe they're on a team right now and they're not enjoying it. Like they just feel kind of stuck. And like, I'm like, I want to talk to that person for a second. Okay. Why do you see that most people transition out of teams?
It's an exchange of value. So when the value drops off, that's when people move on. And for me, like if we're talking to agents out there, I always tell people, look at who your leader is, who your broker is, the environment that you're in, and are those the right folks that are going to allow you to have your best year ever in real estate? Are they inspiring you? Are you motivated? Are you absolutely thriving? Is there a toxicity there? Are you culturally balanced out? Is everything perfect? And a lot of times it's not. And like that's what I try to do with what we do on our staff side of things, on our training side of things. It's like I always figure out, I want to audit the consumer, and the consumer to us as realtors. I want to audit them and make sure that they're getting like a Ritz-Carlton service. So if whether you're on residential or commercial, whatever you're doing, if you're within a team or a brokerage, which a lot of, I'd say 99% of the people are at a brokerage, not owning their own shop as like a one-man show.
Sure.
If that's not perfect, you should start looking around.
Let's dive deeper into this because I think this is really important to pay attention to. We've both been on teams.
Yep.
We've both run teams. We've also have a lot of friends. We have a lot of connections where we also have recruited teams.
Right.
So we've seen team at every bit of every aspect. You're saying that if they're not inspiring you, if they're not giving you the best opportunity to thrive, I want to talk about that specifically. So things let's talk quickly about commissions, right?
Yep.
Mostly, this is a huge sticking point for agents. Probably one of the biggest sticking points that people have, which is my commission split either sucks or I think my commission split is great where I'm at. What's your follow-up question to that? When someone says to you, the agent, we'll start with the agent who says my commission split blows at this team, but they're still staying, or they're thinking about leaving, what do you say?
I used to reverse engineer that. We had somebody they're coming on at 70-30 and they're like a powerhouse, they're a big, and basically what I said to them is, what do I need to do to show you that 30% is value that you can't get on your own? And everybody's gonna have a different answer too. 100%. So if your split sucks and you're on a team, it's what are you not getting from that team to make that split not suck? What do we
it's the value exchange.
Exactly. So what do we so I would start kind of pulling that apart and figuring out what needs to be there. And that too, again, is why we audit our organization. I want to know where are things dropping off, where do we need to be better?
I have a few agents who reach out to me. They're like, hey, I'm on a team. I'm thinking about leaving. I'm like, okay, let's audit your business real quick. Last year you did $150,000. You're talking about how $110,000 came from your team and $40,000 came from you.
Yeah.
And you plan on leaving? It's like I see these exchanges and I'm like, what am I missing here?
And that too, if you're going to go with the team side of things, and I've also recruited from 100% brokerages too. But if you're going to go with the team side of things, what happens a lot is
they're going to jump off. Let's say they made 150 or something. They're going to jump off. They get that immediate burst of like, now they're netting 190.
Yep.
But they forgot what that 40 grand was getting them. So they actually feel like they've just fallen off of like the mother teat, for instance. Like and I went through it. So I know how tough it was for probably 3 or 4 years having left a large team before I really was like, you know what, this does make sense for me to be doing this. But like, that's the problem. And then the other thing too, is when we're going for those 100 person brokerage, let's say you go you net your 190, you know, do the exact same amount of production, and then I talk to you 12 months later, there's a whole different new set of pain points there.
All right, so because I want to talk specifically about the commercial agent who's at the, you know, the big company right now where they're like a 50-50 split or even 25-75 split because they're on a team of a team almost. Yeah. And it's like, okay, we're talking to that agent specifically, and they're like, they feel that the value that they're getting specifically for even a 25% split, which to me is absolutely outrageous because I don't know how you're ever going to make any money when you're working off of such. I want to talk to that person for a second. It's like, okay, put yourself in their shoes. How do you possibly make sense of that?
I wouldn't necessarily say that I don't, like, I get it, I understand it. In my opinion, though, it's an old school way of transacting. And what's happening, and this is why I think EXP Commercial is so, you know, brilliant in what they're doing, is they only take that $20,000 cut, and then the rest is kind of sticking within the team. So there's a lot more money to play around with, and the fact that they don't have Fifth and Madison, whatever penthouse spaces with offices and these fancy things, they're able to operate, you know, at a lower cost. So again, more money stays in the agent's pocket. The other nice thing with us too is we can broker in other states, whereas like the traditional brokerage, the the old school brick and mortar, they want you to refer it out to like their other partner who has that other territory.
Exactly.
So we have a lot more, you know, flexibility on how we can transact. That again goes back to the agents netting more money.
I heard you say traditional thinking because I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And I think that like people are missing on the fact that like the clientele does not care so much. A lot of them, like everyone always tries to say like, well, they care about the brand or they care about that. No, they care about making the most money possible.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like if we're able to take back and split the profit which the company's not taking, why not go for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what intrigues you most about the EXP commercial side? Besides the fact that, like you just said, we can sell anywhere, which is absolutely mind-blowing, and most companies can't do that.
I would say that's probably the biggest. That's the biggest one. I mean, but really, it's the collaboration aspect of things too. It's the fact that it doesn't have, you know, the old school "I'm going to steal the shirt off your back" vibe, which is very common in old school residential brokerage and old school commercial brokerage. So there's not the cutthroat mentality. It's like, let's all row together. And you're right, when you're talking about the client doesn't care where you're at. The client cares whether or not you have a good deal for them to buy, or if you have the proper marketing plan behind the selling side of things, or that's not even necessary if you have the right buyers willing to pay top dollar at the end of the day too. You know, we've really honed in on that, and I think that the EXP commercial just really connects everybody through technology, allows us to be across all 50 states, and I think it's 22 countries now or something like that. But for what I do, it's mainly in the U.S.
Yeah, so let's talk to that agent now. It's like, okay, they're excited. They want to join. Like, we're looking for agents in what state? I mean, because we're looking everywhere.
Yeah, so for us, it's tri-state, East Coast, that sort of thing, Southwest. Anything in California is obviously fantastic. Denver's a good market. Like, we want the markets that are like growing right now, you know, or kind of going the other. San Francisco's not a bad place either.
Because there's opportunity.
Going the other way. Yeah. They need help. The landlords need somebody who's going to hustle and provide value to them to get their spaces filled. So, you know, for me, I would say any of those, more of like more of a city setting.
Yeah, bigger markets.
Yeah, just bigger markets.
Yeah. Like, as in the traditional way of thinking is like, okay, well, you have to live near me.
Yep.
10 minutes down the road, or we can't do business together. You know, we have a different model, which is like anywhere in the state, or not only just anywhere in the state, but anywhere in the country.
Yep.
Let's do business.
Yeah, and for the agents too, it's like we do a great job of just being virtual and allowing trainings to still have an impact.
Yeah.
You can plug your numbers and everything like that, where, you know, you could be working out of a local office or workspace or something like that, or if you have a good home office setup. You know, my own requirement is that, you know, you're distraction free and you take action. I hate when an agent like takes our time and then doesn't do work with the time that, you know, they took. That's the only time that I'm going to be frustrated.
Huge pet peeve.
Yeah.
Huge pet peeve.
Let's spend time. Let's write that business plan we spoke about. And then now you have to go do it.
I was speaking to this agent recently, which he might be watching this video, and he's like, I'm only able to set appointments on Tuesday afternoons because that's when my senior agent is available to go with me. I'm like, how do you have any type of thinking that you can have opportunity there and being successful?
Yeah.
If the only time is between 2 and 6 p.m. to set appointments.
And the guy that you're trying to set appointments with on the other end probably has a fairly strict schedule as well. So it's kind of, that's interesting.
So it's like that type of mentality right now, which is like, okay, well, you have to work with a senior agent in your marketplace, work and abide by everything that they say and do. When their availability might suck, they also might only be making like 200 grand a year, and if you're making 100, how are you going to make 4? It's like this weird convoluted mentality of training and mentorship. How do you think about that?
No, it's old school. And again, it's like, I mean, you and I, we enjoy our time off, but we're still accessible and everything like that. And then also Maggie is wildly accessible too. And if you need somebody, if you need a mentor to come in on, like what we're doing is building a whole company with mentors and seniors and stuff like that. There's a lot of senior agents that want to dedicate their time to juniors so that they're available way outside of those hours. And the problem with that actual scenario you brought up is that guy probably still never followed a system the way you're supposed to be doing. He's probably mentoring to take like a little vig off of another agent or something like that that's gonna be out doing the work. And it's like, no, we're here, we're all busting our butts, we're all thriving, and we want you to be a part of that environment where you're not just. That's just a wild.
It's crazy. No, it caught me off guard too when we were talking. And like, listen, man, I love you, and I'm saying this from love. Like, I want you to succeed. It's like having a governor on a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Right? You can only go 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Or you can only drive it Sundays from 2 to 6. You know, exactly. How can you enjoy that? If you're still watching this video, that means to me that you're a committed real estate agent, and you're looking to take your life and business to the next level. I'm just curious. Why have you yet to schedule your free, no obligation coaching consultation? All you have to do is simply go in the description down below, and people are telling me this call has been the most unbelievable, the most powerful call they've had in their entire career. And here's just a few of the individuals who have taken full advantage of this call. And my mission is to support as many realtors as possible, build a 6- and 7-figure net income business so that they don't have to rely on this industry anymore for their everyday income. If you're a committed realtor, which I can seem like you are, all you have to simply do to take full advantage of this free coaching consultation is to go in the description down below and schedule your free call now.